This is the retail analysis sample that we were looking at in the last video, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to talk about the portal for Power BI, which is what we are seeing here. Here we have the Waffle or Office application launcher that you can click to go to other Microsoft applications and services. This is a button that will take you to Power BI Home. Now you have the workspace that you are in, and the specific items, so these are our breadcrumbs. If I want to go back to my workspace, I can click here, and it will take me back, but it shows me what particular artifact I'm in this case a retail analysis sample. On the right-hand side I have the Power BI toolbar, so this allows me to enter full screen mode, to read my notifications. I might get a notification, for example, if somebody shared a dashboard with me, for example. Settings, we're used to that. At the top there's a report on how much of your personal storage you've used, which is nice to know. Next, a download button, so you can download other Power BI tools. A help button that gives you access to other resources. Feedback, so you can give feedback to Microsoft, and then your profile. You can also sign out here. Next I have a navigation show hide button at the top of the navigation pane. Let's talk about the nav pane for a minute. I have the ability to favorite items that I would like to show on my list of favorites. Right now I've got nothing, but here's a favorite button. We'll get there in a moment, and that would add it to the list. Power BI itself keeps a list of my recently viewed content, so assuming I'm working with 2 or 3 different dashboards, that sort of thing. And there are different icons for each of these. This is our Excel table that we imported. This is an app that we imported earlier. A dashboard. A report. I then have apps. This is the app that we got earlier. I have items that are shared with me. Right now not so much. I have other workspaces. These other workspaces may be created in Power BI, but actually most of mine were created in Office 365. They were created in Outlook. They might have been created in SharePoint in some cases, but the Power BI workspaces and Microsoft Office groups are much the same, so when I'm in a group, for example, the exec team group, there's an assumption that I might want to share Power BI dashboards with this group, and therefore it builds an app workspace, so we can work together. We'll talk more about app workspaces later in the course. Then I have my workspace. Notice that you can expand, show, hide these items. And if I click on my workspace, it will show me my workspace items. Here are my dashboards, reports, workbooks, and datasets on the left, but I also have them here across the top. Let's return to my report. As the reports loads, you'll notice that this report has its own individual toolbar with commands like File, View, and an editor, so this is a view of the report, as well as the ability to refresh. To view related items. This is specific to this artifact, a report. Click on the dashboard for retail analysis sample, and our choices are different: add a tile, set as featured, and so on. You'll see favorite in almost all of these though. If we go to our retail analysis sample dataset, I have the ability, for example, to add buttons, to switch to a reading view, to duplicate a page. Different choices based on the specific item I'm looking at: dashboards, reports, and datasets. So obviously this is a context menu. If its context is a dashboard, I see different options than if my context is a dataset. Finally, the area in the center of the screen where all of the exciting things are displayed is my content area. And the content area also is going to be a little different based on whether I'm looking at a dataset, a report, or a dashboard. This is the Power BI portal. Reports, like the one we see here are composed of a set of visualizations, which is another word for charts, although some of them are not traditional charts as we would think of from Excel. What all of these visualizations have in common is that they are based on the same dataset. We can construct reports from scratch. We can edit reports that already exist. And the way we'll work with reports is to modify and manipulate the visualizations. So, it helps us to know what visualizations are possible. We see a number of visualizations here, and some of them look familiar. In the upper left-hand corner, a pie chart. On the right side, a column chart. Lower right, a bubble chart. And on the left side, a geospatial chart, or map. If we click the second page of this report, District Monthly Sales, again, some very familiar chart types from Excel. But even this item in the upper left-hand corner is a visualization that is composed of text, rather than images. We have, on the third page, new stores, additional visualizations, line charts, and column charts. A district sales report in the center has a couple of tiles that just have text on them. Let's take a look at the visualizations that are currently available for Power BI. First, we have chart visualizations in the traditional sense of the word. You'll know these from Microsoft Excel. Bar charts, column charts, line charts, area charts, which are filled in line charts, pie charts. Hopefully, you're familiar with all of these because, despite the fact that one of them is named pie, they're the bread and butter of Excel visualizations. Then we have some slightly more esoteric charts that we know from Excel, as well. A combo chart, which is, for example, a line and a column, a line and a bar. It's a combination. A bubble chart. Scatter charts are X, Y charts. Donut charts. All of these are Excel chart types. Then we get to the types that are not. Gauge charts, for example, show a gauge like a gas gauge. Very easy to see, there's a goal and we've completed some percentage of that goal. Funnel charts are often used to show time or expenditures on different phases of a project. Waterfall charts are used to show changes, for example, in a variance over time. Again, all of these are charts. Then we have text visualizations. The single number card or big number card is the visualization that we saw that simply has one number in the middle of it. It's an easy way to show a count of the items that we're seeing. How many stores? How many states? A multi-row card shows detail for multiple fields for a single item, although you can stack up multiple multi-row cards and be able to scroll through them. For example, a card that has the store, its sales, and the city and state. We can display key performance indicators where we have values and goals. We have tables and matrices, other ways to present text. All of these are text visualizations. Then we have visualizations that are geospatial. For example, maps where each data point is a pin in the map. Or, filled maps where the intensity of the colors showing something about the contribution from that area, or the sales from that area. Filled maps are almost always used for recognizable geographic areas, states, or countries, or counties, for example. Because, if you don't understand the shape that's being filled in, it doesn't necessarily turn into a useful graphic. We also have access, if it is turned on, for your organization to ArcGIS maps for embedded location-based analytics. All of these need some kind of geospatial data. Zip codes, for example, latitude and longitude, although ArcGIS doesn't use lat and long, but does use zip codes and addresses. A tree map displays hierarchical data using nested rectangles. So, for example, if we had sales by country, each country would have a rectangle, but inside that country we could have smaller rectangles that are by vendor in that country, or by store chain, or even by state, or province. Slicers are used in Power BI as they are used in Excel with tables or pivot tables. They're a visible filter. And, although almost all of the visualizations that we've talked about can be used as a filter, slicers are a clear invitation to users to filter a page. An image is a visualization that presents an image file, a JPEG, for example. If we wanted to put a logo on every single page, this is the way we would do this. In Power BI reports, we combine these visualizations to tell a story. On this page of the report, the story of district monthly sales. When we're ready to share parts of that story with others, we have a couple of choices. One is to create an app workspace and to share the report and the data set, and anything else with our colleagues, so that they can collaborate, as well. The more traditional choice is to take one or more of the visualizations from the report and pin it to a dashboard, and the dashboard can then be shared more broadly. With a plethora of available visualizations, often you'll focus most on which visualization best tells the story that you need to convey. Even though charts are very attractive, all of these, choosing the right chart type, or perhaps even choosing to use text or a map, rather than a chart, may provide the clearest story in the dashboard that you want to share with your colleagues. Visualizations are available here in the Visualizations pane, and new visualizations can be added as custom visuals, which we will talk about later.